Yo, what's going on, guys? My name's Cast. Welcome to my first episode reaction of Frieren Beyond Journey's End. So it's been a little while since I've sat down and recorded a reaction video. A lot of things have been going on. I won't get into details because frankly, I don't really feel like talking about it. It's long overdue, but I am here to finally watch Frieren, a series that, in all honesty, I don't know very much about at all. There was more than a few times that I thought about sitting down and watching this on my own, but I thought if I ever want to do a reaction series to this, if this is a really special series that people really say it is, I believe currently it is the top of my anime list, and I think by like a decent margin last time I checked. This series I've heard nothing but high praises for, so I thought if I'm gonna watch it, I'm not gonna make the same mistake that I've made with Blue Lock and with some of these other series that I watched them and then I wish I recorded them because my reactions, even on my own, were so great. Well, not to toot my own horn, not great, but I had very intense reactions, responses to the episodes. I didn't want that to happen with Frieren. I wanted to sit down and get on camera and watch it myself for the first time, so that's what I'm here to do. So as per usual, when I start a new series, I always talk about what I know going into it, and fortunately, especially when it comes to the plot, I know basically nothing about the show. I do know what a few of the characters look like. There is a silver-haired elf or a white-haired elf, and I believe that's Frieren. Just the only things I know and I've learned from this are people tweeting about it for the most part. I haven't watched any content relating to it. I haven't watched any trailers. I haven't watched any clips of the show at all. I know Frieren, and there's like a purple hair girl, and there's like a red-haired guy. I don't know who they are. I don't know what their names are, but that's pretty much it. I don't know anything about the plot. I know that she's an elf and that this is probably a fantasy show. I don't know if it's an isekai. I don't really know what genre the show even is, so I'm going into this more blind than I've gone into most shows. So I typically pick out a few anime to watch each season on my own, so it's really just a stroke of luck that this wasn't one of the ones I picked. I'm really looking forward to getting into this, but I have to say, unlike normal, this is a little bit more nerve-wracking getting into this one just because the bar I think is set quite high. I try not to go into any series or any game or any media I consume with any expectations because, you know, just because it's popular or just because some people like it doesn't mean everybody will like it. You kind of set yourself up for disappointment if you go in with really high expectations, and if you go in with really low expectations, you end up convincing yourself you don't like it even if you do. So I try and go into it just with an open mind. So that's what I'm going to do here to the best of my ability, but I am expecting great things. If you would like to watch my reactions to the next episodes right now, you can do so over on my Patreon. The link is in the description. And without further ado, let's jump into episode 1 of Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Also, just a quick note, I am skipping the opening and the ending for this, not because I've heard them, I have not heard them yet, but I just want to make sure there's no spoilers, so I'm going to post this and you guys can let me know if I can watch them, if I can watch the second one as well, because I think there's an opening and ending too. Let me know if they're safe to watch early. If not, I'll stay away from them or I'll just keep them in the episode reaction. At the northernmost end of the continent, I arrived at the place that people of this world call heaven, Ariel, the land where the souls rest. Probably didn't say that right. Okay, we've got a good map here. I love a map. I'm a big geography guy. Kind of looks like North America if it has like a little Greenland fused on the side there, just from the quick glance. Okay, so we're super far north.
Frieren.
Oh! Whoa, that is not right. We're gonna fix that immediately. And I guess while we're at it, we'll have a quick look at the map. I know I'm getting into it way too early, but you know, this is what I mean. A little bit of like a Greenland fused onto the side of like Canada, less islands. You've got like Baja California over here on the left. You know, just about North America, little New England going on over here. Got a big Great Lake area, perhaps, except just one Great Lake. Yeah, it's interesting. Very mountainous up north, by the looks of it. Oh, wait, hold on, I missed this. Many souls gathered there. I spoke with a friend who once fought alongside me. Flame, the legendary mage. Or Flame? I don't know.
Frieren.
I have seen some screenshots, so I know what the art style looks like. It's very pretty.
私たち勇者一行の凱旋です。盛り上がっているでしょうね。
帰ったら仕事探さないとな。
It's very fantasy, the walled city.
大事なことさ。魔王を倒したからといって終わりじゃない。
They've defeated the Demon King. Wow, so we're starting, not at the starting point.
フリーレン、君のこの先の人生は僕たちには想像もできないほど長いものになるんだろうね。
そうかもね。
I suppose it's because she's an elf And elves live a long time, typically, in fantasy. Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Immediately the title, I didn't know what that meant, but if they've already defeated the Demon King, maybe the journey's already kind of over. And now we go beyond, plus Ultra. Eisen, Himmel, Heiter, and Frieren. This is so interesting. It's just definitely a different start than I'm used to. Already subverting a bit of trope there.
王様が広場に僕たちの彫像を作ってくれるそうだ。まあイケメンであるこの僕を忠実に再現できるかどうかは甚だ疑問だがね。まあまあフリーレン、こうしてただ酒も飲めるわけですし。
Are priests even supposed to drink? Yeah, right. I'm saying. Thought that's typically not a thing they do, unless they're in Vinland Saga. The dwarf looks very interesting. Interesting design.
10年ですか。いろいろなことがありましたね。旅立ちの日にヒンメルとアイゼンが王様にタメ口聞いて処刑されかけたり。
下手したらあそこで冒険終わってたよね。
ハイターが二日酔いで役に立たなかったこともあったな。
Okay, so it's not just a one-night thing for him. He's just constantly drunk. Oh man. You got the Dark Souls mimics? It's pretty lighthearted so far, but I'm not letting my guard down.
僕は君たちと冒険ができてよかった。
そうですね。
短い間だったけどね。
短い？何を言ってるんだ？10年だぞ。ハイターを見ろ。すっかりおっさんになってしまったぞ。
失礼ですよ。
Yeah, I guess it's already kind of bringing into the fact that
失礼ですよ。
time doesn't work the same for her. Make a wish. Make 2. 3. Dude, who needs a genie when you got all these shooting stars?
エーラ流星でしたっけ
？50年に一度の流星群。平和な時代の幕開けにはちょうどいいな。
I don't feel like anybody's making a big enough deal about this. It's pretty cool.
街中だと見えにくいね。
人が感動しているんだ。空気を読みたまえ。
じゃあ次。50年後、もっと綺麗に見える場所知ってるから案内するよ。何？
いや、なんでもない。
Did she just not get it, or?
そうだな。みんなで見よ
う。I mean, even if her time perception is different, you know, she must understand that 50 years is a long time for most people. It's kind of sad when you think about it. I'm sure the show's going to go into it, honestly. It's already leading that way.
これからどうするつもりだ？
魔法の収集を続けるよ。100年くらいは中央諸国を巡る予定だから。まあ。
For the next 100 years or so. Yeah, but she talks like they're gonna be around.
エルフの感覚はわかりませんね。
まったく、いつから生きているのやら。
Ooh. The cool time lapse. Don't normally see stuff like that in anime. One thing I'm really hoping is that the art and world building really kind of catches me. Because it's been a while, I feel like, since the world itself of a show really got me absorbed. The music too, I can already tell it's gonna be good. Still falling into mimics. Happens to all of us. Gotta check the chain, make sure it's not messed up.
暗黒竜の角、うちでは取り扱ってないよ。暗黒竜自体、2、30年は見てないね。
そういえば魔王城で拾ったやつ。ヒンメルに預けたままだっけ？
なんか邪悪なオーラみたいなの出てるけど、人体2回はないよね。
I don't know why. Himmel's kind of funny, just the way he talks.
もうすぐエーラ流星の時期だし、ついでに取りに行くか。
Wait, so it's been like 30 years already? You said the meteor shower is coming up again.
前来た時とだいぶ街並みが違うの。
Oh, we're just skipping through that, huh? I'm just gonna pause and already say that if the show takes on the approach of portraying time as passable as it is for Frieren, that's gonna be really interesting, because initially thinking about it, if we are gonna have great swaths of time pass, we're gonna see it through the eyes of other characters, you know, typical standard humans and everything that happens to them along the way. But if it's always like this, then that's also really, really interesting. But it's gonna make me wonder how exactly we're gonna have like emotional investment in other characters if time will come and go so fast, if we're only going to be around Frieren the whole time. I don't know. There's a lot of open-ended possibilities this show already has, and I don't know. I'm intrigued, I gotta say.
ヒンメル、
Is that him?
老いぼれてる。
言い方ひどくね。
It is him. Damn. He shrunk a lot too.
年を取った僕もなかなかイケメンだろ。50年ぶりだね。君は昔の姿のままだ。もう一生会えないのかと思っていたよ。
There's a decent chance some of our other party members are not even alive anymore.
あと魔王城で拾ったやつなんだけど。
暗黒竜の角だね。片時も忘れたことはないよ。ずっとタンスから邪悪な音が出ていたからね。
Damn.
なんかごめん。適当に納屋にでも放り込んでおいてくれてよかったのに。
君にとっては軽い気持ちで預けたものかもしれないけど、僕にとっては大切な。
Oh, that's nice. That's sweet. I thought he was going to say something like, I have to have it nearby so that way I don't miss you if you come around. That's basically what he's saying. That's nice. Himmel's a cool dude. Just a genuinely good guy. Frieren just has this very cold exterior, and I don't know if it's willful or not, you know? Like maybe it's a subconscious thing for her. That'd be pretty surreal if you're just like one of these townspeople walking around and you see a girl that looks exactly like the statue. Oh, hey, look, they are still alive. He looks pretty good. He doesn't look like he aged that much compared to Himmel. Yeah, he hasn't. Except, same with you. Wonder if dwarves live a lot longer too. It's about a week's walk.
そんなに遠いのか。
まったく老人を酷使しよって。
Right, yeah.
こうしているとあの時に戻ったかのようだ。いろいろなところを旅したね。何もかもが新鮮できらめいて見えた。
This is so strange. Like, we're getting the emotional beats not from the main character. It's like no big deal at all to her, but everybody else, it's cool. Dwarf still got it. Good to see.
その美しい思い出の中にはいつも君たちがいた。僕はね、全員が揃うこの日を待ち望んでいたんだ。君のおかげで最後にとても楽しい冒険ができた。
Oh, this music, the OST, so good already. So good. The music is so good that even though I'm not like emotionally invested in the show yet, like I can feel it, you know? This is gonna break my heart on a rewatch. I just already know. Did he finally pass away? Hopefully Frieren's there. Yeah, she is.
ヒンメルは幸せだったと思いますよ。
そうなのかな。
あの子ヒンメル様の仲間なんだって。 悲しい顔一つしないなんて。
Hmm.
白状だね。
おやおや、私たちもしていませんよ。
市長は真面目にやれ、この白状者。
って言いたいですな。
It's kind of close-minded from the townspeople. Not everybody processes death the same way, and especially at the start, right after it happens, there can be a real numbness and emotional coldness because, you know, a lot of different reasons. Denial, it's just a form of grief. Silence is a form of grief. And not everybody processes everything the same way, as I'm sure everybody knows. But I guess in Frieren's case, it already raises some questions like, is that just how she is mostly all the time? When she was taking them on the journey for the meteor shower, she looked happy. She was smiling and waving and stuff. So it looked like she was at least having a good time, like she's not totally emotionless. But also you have to wonder that because she's obviously so old already, I'm sure she's seen many people, basically everybody that she's ever known, come and go outside of other elves. If there are other elves out there, I don't know. But maybe this is just so normal for her. And I guess in her mind, she only spent 10 years with these guys, so she might not be as close to them as they are to her. Or at least it doesn't feel that way because of how we perceive time and how we think back on it. Frieren probably doesn't do a whole lot of thinking back because why would you if it's just such a small part of your life? Nobody really remembers what they were doing 3 Saturdays ago, and that might just be what that 10 years was for her 3 Saturdays ago. So it's already very interesting. One of the most interesting parts of this so far is just how Frieren is, like the state of her in reality versus how she will develop as the story goes on.
だって私この人のこと何も知らないし。たった10年一緒に旅しただけだし。
Oh, she is crying. Okay.
人間の寿命は短いって分かっていたのに、なんでもっと知ろうと思わなかったんだろう。
Interesting. So it is kind of like something she's not used to. Like it never really dawned on her up until this point.
頭なでんなよ。
A bit of a learning experience for her.
では私も生徒に戻るとしましょう。二人とも顔をよく見せて。これで最後になるでしょうからね。
どこか悪いの？
長年の酒がたたりましてね。
Yeah, I was gonna say he's doing pretty well for all the drinking he supposedly did.
生徒によることがあったら、私の墓に酒でも備えてください。
ハイターは死ぬのが怖くないの？
私たちは世界を救った勇者パーティーですよ。死後は天国で贅沢三昧に決まっています。そのために私
It's a good way to look at it.
あなた方と共に戦ったのです。
生臭坊主。
それではお先に。
I mean, not only that, with all the danger I'm sure they faced on their journey, they had to at least be a little bit more accustomed to the fear of death than your average person.
魔法収集の旅か。
それもあるけど、私はもっと人間を知ろうと思う。
Okay.
そうか。そんな顔するな、フリーレン。人生ってのは衰えてからの方が案外長いもんさ。
Interesting.
じゃあまたね、アイゼン。
あ、また。
Damn, I like her party. It's kind of a shame that I'm really thinking they're not going to be around for much of the show. They all seem like pretty good people. I want the old dwarf to teach me lessons. Oh my god, this OST is fantastic. It's fantastic already. Is that it for episode 1? No. Okay, we're still going.
さっきの木だ。この森いつも迷うな。どこだここ。
20 years after the death of Heimel the hero, the outskirts of the holy city.
何かお探しでしょうか。
This is one of those characters I have seen screenshots of.
いや、ハイターって人の家を探しているんだけど。
では、お客様でございますね。
まだ生きてたんだな。
Oh, he's still alive. That's good.
かっこよく死ぬのも難しいものですな。
墓に備える酒買ってきちゃったけど、一杯やる？
酒はもうやめた。
He looks so good. Isn't he like 90 or something?
今更
He
言う
has
と
to
ぶったっ
be.
て女神様は許してくれないと思うけどね。あの子は
フェルンと言います。南側諸国の繊細孤児でした。
らしくないね。進んで人助けするようなたちじゃないでしょ。ヒンメルじゃあるまいし。
I mean, it's interesting that she makes the comment that you're not the type to help people, considering she was reflecting on how she didn't really know anything about Heimel in the first place. I mean, does she feel the same about Hyther here? Or maybe she's taken some time to dwell in her memories and really think about everybody more? Maybe she's not yet aware of how obviously drastically somebody can change over the course of 50 to 70 years since she's seen this guy.
フリーレン、なぜ私のところへ？
生徒への買い出しのついでだよ。旅先で会う人とはなるべく関わるようにしているからね。それにハイターにはたくさん借りがあるから、死なれる前に返しに来た。
では一つ頼み事を。弟子を取りませんか？フェルンには魔法使いとしての素質があります。あなたの旅に連れて行ってくれませんか？
ごめんハイター。それだけはできない。
It's the one thing I can't do.
実践での見習い魔法使いの死亡率は知ってるでしょ。友人から預かった子を死地に送るつもりはないよ。
Good reasoning.
そうですか。では別の頼みを。賢者エービヒの墓所から出土したものです。この魔導書には今は失われた死者の蘇生
Resurrection and immortality?
されているとされています。
そんな魔法が実在するとは思えないけど。
それも含めて解読をお願いしたいのです。できますか？
絵を使った暗号でしょ。この時代の人はこういうのが好きだね。まあ、5、6年もあれば。
そうですか。
You know, that's such an interest. Oh man, sorry, I like to talk a little bit before the show explains itself because I just like to share where my thoughts are. The concept of resurrection and immortality are so valuable to people because we don't live forever lives, you know, and even looking at it in a little bit more pessimistic, hard view way, it's only really the first like half of our lives, maybe the first 50 years, give or take a decade or two, that we're actually able to go out and do all the things we want to do. We can play sports, we can skydive or all that. You can't do that when you're an elderly person. I mean, you can, but it's obviously a lot more risky and a lot more difficult. So we're so fascinated by this idea of immortality. There's been a lot of discussion lately, and I don't know how credible it is, but I see on Twitter and on some social media stuff that they're saying that if you can live to 2040, then you can live to 2140 because we're going to figure out how to reverse aging and basically become longer living beings and all that. And I don't know if that's all hogwash. I mean, it probably is. It's probably some crypto scam again. But the idea that living forever is one of humanity's top priorities to completely defeat the idea of death through immortality is something we've been seeking for thousands and thousands of years. But for someone like Frieren, you almost have to wonder, does that sort of idea hold any value at all whenever she's not immortal? I mean, I'm sure she can die, and I'm sure at some point she will die of age. But how long will that be? Would that even be something she would even want? If she had the spell of immortality right in front of her, would she even bother? Does she enjoy living a long time? That's not something we've really explored from her or not. Does she even think about death or think about things like that? What would life be like for somebody that never considers death as a major part of their lives outside of worrying about other people's death? Just on these concepts alone, there's just so many ways this can go and so many interesting concepts to explore. And with all the high praises that this show gets, I can only assume that we go into that. Maybe it's high rating for another reason, but just the talking points and the slow pacing. It's not slow pacing, but the pacing of the episode, it's not insisting we dive into any of the action. I really hope we explore some of these more psychological aspects of the show.
でもこんなの解読してどうすんのさ。死ぬのは怖くないんじゃなかったの？
理由は2つあります。一つはあなたたちの手前格好をつけていたから。もう一つは 前より死ぬのが怖くなったから。まあ不死とは言わず、ほんの少しでいいから時間が欲しくなったのです。
That is probably how most people feel.
長寿はその最たるものですよ、フリーレン。
生臭坊主。
それと解読の片手間で構わないので、フェルンに魔法を教えてあげてはくれませんか。
He wants to help Fern. That's probably also why he wants to live longer. Or at least it could be part of the reason. Because once he dies, and if Frieren doesn't take her on, which I think she will, but you never know, right? Where will Fern go next? Especially with her being so young.
フリーレン様でも私を見つけるのが大変でございましたか。存在感が薄いとハイター様からもよく言われます。とても良いことでございますね。
そうだね。やっぱり魔力探知にほとんど引っかからない。卓越した魔力の操作技術だ。この年で一体どれだけの研鑽を積んだんだ。
ハイター様にあの一番岩を打ち抜けば一人前になれると言われました。
へえ、ハイターも分かってんじゃん。あ
Mhm.
れはね。
Oh, almost.
このように魔力が離散してしまい届か
I
ない。
thought she was gonna do it right away. I was like,
なる
damn.
ほどね。
どのような修行をすればよいのでしょうか。
ねえ、先に一つ聞いていい？魔法は好き？
ほどほどでございます。
This is the most well-spoken child. And that's it. That's the first episode. I'm not gonna watch the ending yet. Alright guys, well that was the first episode of Frieren Beyond Journey's End. The whole time I was wondering if something was gonna go wrong in typical anime first episode fashion, but the show didn't do that. I already am starting to wonder if this is maybe considered a seinen or something maybe perhaps more geared toward adults. It's a little bit less fast-paced, it's a little bit less action-heavy. There's obviously themes in it that everybody can enjoy, from the magic to the fantasy aspects. All of that's really cool, but I really enjoy the fact that it's taking its time. It's not setting up some crazy cliffhanger. It just seems to be more confident in its presentation, and I have to give it points for that. So yeah, like I was saying, just some of the aspects of this story from Frieren living a very long time lends itself to so many concepts that it could explore from a more psychological aspect that I have to wonder where it's gonna go. Is she going to take on Fern as an apprentice, grow close with her, see Fern age and die, and then that's going to be a whole nother journey for her? Is this the journey beyond Journey's End? Just maybe her mentorship with Fern? Maybe it's through Fern that Frieren can learn the things that she wants to learn about humans. Or maybe the book that Hyther gave her about resurrection and immortality is going to be a lot harder to decipher than Frieren thinks. And while she's trying to decipher it, she's going to get more and more desperate as she sees people around her age and get closer to dying, and make her more and more desperate to save the people that she can save, only to find out that it's the fact that we do age and we do die that make our lives kind of interesting and worth the journey in the first place. The fact that we have an endpoint, and we know we have an endpoint, kind of pushes us to act today and to act now and to do the things we want to do. Because if your time is unlimited, or if you're going to live for thousands of years, then what's the point of going out today and doing the things you need to do? Why not put that off, because there's always tomorrow, right? Is it right to deny that naturalness of aging and death? How scary would it be to be one of the first people to go on this journey of living for hundreds or thousands of years? Would it affect you in any weird way, knowing that maybe if disease or age can't kill you, then your death could come from somewhere else? Would it make you paranoid? Would it make your life style and habits and things you do and don't do change because of that? If you could only die from things like accidents or whatever? So yeah, this was a pleasantly surprising first episode. I really enjoy the pacing. I think my shout out star of the episode has to be the OST. It already has that very grandiose feel to it that it evokes emotion. It's very evocative. So I can only see that continuing, and if the show does explore the themes and the ideas and the philosophies that I've been talking about a little bit, and more, obviously, the show could get pretty deep. And when the show gets deep and the emotional beats start hitting and that OST kicks in, the tears are gonna start flowing. I hate to say it, but it seems almost inevitable. Thank you guys so much for watching this first episode reaction. I know as this story goes on, there's probably going to be so much more to discuss. I think the discussions are going to go on quite a long time in some of these later episodes. I'm really looking forward to it. Hope you are as well. Be sure to check out the Patreon if you want early access to new episodes. And with that being said, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you'd like to, and I'll see you next time.